Hello, Steve back here on the Results Podcast, and it's great to be back talking to you today. Today I wanted to talk to you about the price of success. Nearly everybody I talk to tell me that they want to be more successful, they want to grow their business, make more money, have more success. And, for most business owners, when they first started out in business, the idea was that they would pretty much make either a better quality of life, do some good, achieve, better financial situation for themselves or their family, or to be more secure. The reality of that is that they often achieve none of those things. Their business is more volatile. Times are tough. They finish at working 12, 14 hours a day. There's no security there. They don't know what's going to happen next or where the next, invoice is going to come from. And so I wanted to just talk to you really about the price of success, because I believe that why is that? Why is it that, so many businesses go bust? I heard recently that 80% of businesses that start this year will have gone bust within 5 years. Now, that's nothing to do with COVID or the government or the world recession or, if there is such a thing. It's nothing to do with external factors. It's everything to do with the owner of the business and, I suppose, their attitude towards the business. Because if you start a business and you go into that business working in the business, repairing cars or being a hairdresser or whatever it is you do, then all you've really got in truth is a job and not a business at all. If you really want to leverage your business and grow your business and run a business that's more successful than just earning you a living, then you've clearly got to do something different. So the question is, I suppose there's several questions actually. One is what you do, but more importantly than that, before that, is are you willing to pay the price? What is the price of success and are you willing to pay it? Well, for me, the price of success is, and I'm talking here, I know, what is success? Well, we could have a whole feature on that and probably talk about that for days, but I'm talking about financial success here. I'm not talking about, successful marriage or health or, being successful in sport or anything like that. I'm talking about someone who wants to grow their business and have a more successful business and make more money and so on and so forth. So, as I said, everyone tells me that they want to do that and that they're totally committed to being more successful. However, the reality is different. Often people do exactly the same thing as they've always done. People tell me, oh yeah, I want to be more successful. And then they just carry on doing exactly what they've done. And for most people, certainly from a sales and marketing perspective, they just carry on going to, BNI or Federation of Small Business and whatever, getting a bit of business from referral and trying the odd marketing thing, but not really focusing enough time, money and effort. And that's really what it takes, isn't it, if you think about it? How do you be more successful? You need to put more time in. You probably need to put more money in. And you certainly need to put more effort in. It's not down to luck, although there sometimes is an element of luck in it. But as the old saying goes, the more effort I put in, the luckier I get. And I think that is very, very true. The fact is, most small businesses are not really committed to that success, and that's why they've not really been successful, or certainly not as successful as they really want to. So if you're serious about being successful, really, you've got to pay the price. What does it take for you to be more successful? Well, it takes you, there's several things. I always remember listening to Tony Robbins talking about success. If you don't know Tony's one of the world's leading business coaches, advisors, consultants, call him what you will. He makes $3 billion a year. and charges £1 million to work with him on a one-to-one basis for him to coach you. So, you'd think he knows what he's talking about. And he talks about success as being, you've got to firstly know what you want. You've got to really know and understand what you want, when you want it. If success to me is £1 million in turnover and 50% profit, then I've got to go, right, okay, this is what I'm turning over now. This is what I want, £1 million, 50% turnover, 50% profit. And when do I want that? Well, I'm going to achieve that within 2 years. Okay, so that's knowing what I want. We've then got to form a plan and take action. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They sort of know what they want. Well, I'd like more money. Or, I'd like to be able to afford a house in the south of France, or, I want a new car and I want to get this and I want to get that. But, all those things are great if that's what you want, but really you've got to put a date on it. When are you going to get that, Ferrari or whatever it is you want? When does that goal achievable? Because without that, it's very difficult to track your progress towards it. So if I said to you, I want to get a new Ferrari inside 12 months, and that Ferrari is going to cost me, let's say, it's not a brand new one, so it's 120,000, and I'm starting with no money in my Ferrari nest egg. Then I've got to get 10 grand a month on average. Now, if in the first 2 months I've only managed to save £2,000, you get where the problem is, yeah? So without knowing what you want and when you want it, it's very difficult to be able to move towards it and understand whether the actions that you're taking are moving you closer to what you want or not. And so that is the next step. Know what you want and take action, and then measure if it's working or not. And the next one is to know if it's not working, to change your approach. Because Einstein's definition of insanity was doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So we've got to change your approach. This is one of the biggest problems I see with businesses, with marketing. They keep doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. They either do that, or they make the even bigger mistake, and that is behaving like a butterfly, going from one thing to another, telling me that, Facebook advertising doesn't work. I've tried LinkedIn, that doesn't work. Email marketing, well, that was a waste of time. Website, SEO, I've tried all those, and none of those work, Steve. And they finish up relying on referrals and a bit of networking and doing hardly any marketing and losing a fortune because they've dabbled with something. It's like somebody in sport, in my sport of table tennis, they tell me, I've been trying to become a top player, but I just can't. And I say, well, how often do you play? They say, well, at least 3 times a week. 3 times a week, give me a break. I used to play 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 10 hours a day, let alone about, a couple of hours twice a week. I just ain't going to get there. If you want to be good at selling, how much time and effort are you going to put into training yourself to become a better person? For most people, they don't do any training in sales. It just absolutely blows my mind. You're employing somebody, i.e. yourself, in sales who can't even be bothered to train themselves. It's all right saying, well, I'm a really good salesperson, Steve. Yeah, are you really? Are you really good at handling objections, presenting your products, overcoming, getting No, you're probably, what you probably are is a really good order taker. When somebody comes to you and says, I want to buy this, you're probably good at converting those. But when it comes to, negotiating and persuading, your persuasion skills are probably not as good as they could be. And again, that's just, in my opinion, costing you a fortune on an ongoing basis. So let's just examine, if we could, how do you become more successful then? What could you do? Well, if you think about what is success, yes, turnover is important, but the old saying is turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. So let's look at that word profit, if we could. Profit, what is that derived from? That is derived from the turnover that you get, take away your costs. So if I turn over £1 million, my costs are £500,000. Without being an accountant, I can work out that my profit is £500,000. Yeah, that's easy. So the question being, if I want to increase my profit, what have I got to do? Well, for me, it always starts with, is there something I could save? Am I spending £500,000 on everything that I need? Could I save myself 5% here, 10% there? Perhaps in total, I could save myself, I don't know, maybe 100,000. I could reduce my costs from £500,000 to 400,000. Perhaps. That's great. That's given me an extra £100,000. Now, that may or may not be possible, but the problem with that is it's still limited, isn't it? There's only so much I can save. I can't spend no money at all, and even if I could, I'd still be limited to £1 million profit. And perhaps I want more than that. But typically, when you look at your costs, there's a 5 to 10% saving somewhere within what you're spending. So the first action I'd look to do, if you were looking to be more successful financially, is to look at your costs and see what you could save, how you could save something. The next thing then, and this is where the real leverage is, this is where the real potential is to increase sales. Now, my question to you is, how much could you increase sales? Could you increase it by 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 1,000%? Now, you may say, well, I couldn't go 1,000%, Steve, because I haven't got enough time. Now, if you've got a business that's just exchanging time for money and it's just you're right, you couldn't. But if you really want to leverage your business, then you need to look at it a little bit differently. So if I made, if I made pens, or if I repaired cars, or if I did landscape gardening or something like that, then there are only so many hours in the day. Perhaps I could put my price up a little bit. But there's only so much hours in the day, so there's only therefore so much work I can get. But if I wanted to employ people or subcontract to people, I could potentially have 50 mechanics, or 100 landscape gardeners, or 500 accountants all working for me. I could leverage time in exchanging time for money. But that's not the only way of winning business, is it? Exchanging time for money. You could buy and sell products. You could run online training. You could run training programs. You could do lots and lots of different things to make you money. So the key is increasing sales. You can save a bit, which is great, but if you really want to be more successful, you've got to become better really at two things. One is improving your lead creation. You've got to get more leads into your business, aka your marketing. You need to be better at marketing your business. I'm not talking about creating brand awareness. I'm not talking about getting yourself known, although that is one factor. What I'm talking about is turning that into more leads. You need to get more leads. Secondly, and equally importantly, you've got to become better at converting those leads into sales. And ultimately, it's about creating more sales. That's what you want to do. And to do that, you've got to become better at selling and marketing your products and services. Now, if you want to do that, the question is, how? How are you going to do that? Well, you need to think about training yourself. You need to think about, what am I going to do to become better at selling and marketing? And the only way really, there's two ways. One, you could outsource it. You could get somebody else to do your marketing for you. And that's maybe a short-term fix. But ultimately, what you really want to do is to become better at selling and marketing your products and services. Now, it could be that, you spend time learning in order to develop the systems and processes so that you can perhaps employ somebody who can help you with sales and marketing once you've got the systems in place and you've already got proof of concept. But initially you need to do that. Now, if you need any help with that, and I strongly suggest that you do, one option is to talk to me. I've spent 26 years now helping businesses to do just that. I've helped them to make literally millions of pounds of additional unforeseen income. Now, obviously not all of them, but certainly some of them. And those, the ones that I have really helped make millions have been the ones that have taken action. Now, if you're a startup, I'm not going to say to you, look, you've turned over 50,000 in the first year, so excuse me, we're going to be hitting £1 million in year 2. What I can say is, if you're a startup business and, perhaps today's the first day of your business, I would hope that in 12 months we'll be getting you to 6 figures, 100K plus. If you're a £200,000 or £300,000 business and you want to get to that first million, then I would suggest that that's a good target. And if you're already turning over 3, 4, 5, perhaps 10 million, then again, hitting that next million would be where I'd be focusing for you and your business. So all that said, if you are interested in my help, and I strongly hope you are, but if you're not, go and get somebody else's help. I really do think that, unless you're heading in the right direction, you need to get some help. So if you want my help, or at least to have a conversation to see if there's a match, to see what I've got would be of value to you. If you'd like to do that, then what I'd strongly recommend is taking the first step and booking a free, no obligation online Zoom meeting just for half an hour. We can talk about your business and what you're trying to achieve and where you are now, and at the end of it, I'll talk to you about how I think I can help you. Does that sound fair? I really hope it is. I want to promise you that there's no hard sell as part of that process. So if you want to do that, then what I'd suggest you do is to go to my website, which is steve-mills.com. In the middle of the homepage, you'll see a bright gold button. Click on that. That will give you access to my online diary, and there you can book a time that is best for you. And it's as simple as that. So thank you very much for listening to the podcast. I hope it's been of value to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my podcast. Go and find me on YouTube under Steve Mills Marketing. Subscribe to that. I've got a load of free stuff that I give away, and it'd be great to have you on board as part of the team. Thank you very much for listening, and look forward to speaking to you again on my next podcast. Thank you.